Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another large ship, and this one comes with a singular turret on the front of it, a singular custom turret that is a gigantic railgun turret featuring two barrels with 3 railguns in each side, and they all fire together on a left side and right side pattern. So this is called the Caladon Monitor, which is this lovely thing that I'm currently standing on top of, and that's of course the railgun turret, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. So this is basically like a gigantic fish, where it has a pretty big interior for you to walk around in. It's got all the basics. You've got medical bay, you've got living quarters, and of course you've got a small little bridge for you to wander around in. But powered by hydrogen thrusters, we've got a very lovely greyish blue colouring on the top side of the ship. We've got some white on the bottom, along with a bit of yellow here and there. Then turning our attention all the way to the front here at this turret, here we go. And that's what we get. So we've got ourselves 3 railguns on one side, 3 railguns on the other, and they both fire at the same time on the left and right pattern, at a single click of a button. Going to realign the camera like so, press F10, find it in the spawn menu, and of course there will be links to SkyBox in the description below. This one's a lovely one, got a little patch of blue this time, but all the rest of it is this lovely reddish colouring with a few bits of black here and there. Anyway, over to the ship, pressing F10, finding its spawn menu, here we go. So the Caladon Monitor is 1,400 large blocks, using pretty much all the DLC packs. We can see here one hell of a lot of information about this, which is the story behind it and what its purpose actually is. We're just going to ignore that, and we'll give it a thumbs up, but feel free to pause that and take a read through if that's what we want to do. This one come all the way around towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside. Not really too much to talk about on the outside of this thing, it's more the interior and the turrets, which will be the main bulk of this video. But here we go for the very front anyway. So right at the very front, this is what we get, and there's a bunch of yellow steel blocks surrounded by our lovely greyish blue blocks, then a white down the bottom. Above that we can see our railgun turret, come back to that in detail a bit later on. Run onto the side with my light turned off, here we go. So we've got some inset light blocks on the green colouring on this side, and a red on the opposite. As we move all the way along, we've got some armoured panels, these are the little fins sticking out the side. There's the start of our hydrogen thrusters, where we've got 3 of them lined together. Down there is another inset light block, once again in the green. And then round towards the very back of this thing, here we go. That's what's going to push us around. So we've got 6 hydrogen thrusters within 2 pipe blocks, 1 column right in the middle for a bit of decoration. And to the opposite side, there we are with our red lights. Anyway, moving all the way up and looking down, there's our connector. All the way across, there's another hydrogen thruster. Onto this part, here's our crust decoy, then a little conveyor cap on the blast edge block for a bit of decoration. Round towards the front of this thing. There we go, and then looking all the way up. Then back down to here we go, there's the top of our turret. But yes, once again, we'll come out in just a moment. Just need to come all the way down underneath it before that. So there we are, so this is the bottom of all of our white steel blocks. Putting on my light, so we've got 3 hydrogen thrusters there, another sneaky one over here to slow us down. And towards the back there, that's all there is. Like I said, it's a very simple exterior. Until we come all the way up to our turret over here. So yes, our turret coming over to this section. So we can spin this full 360 if we want to. There are limitations in place to make sure you don't actually slam into the bridge and destroy it. It's down to there. We can just about make out our rotor. In fact, that's a very clear view at our rotor and has been connected up to the rest of this ship. Then we come all the way up. My light turned off. Got hinges inside there to be able to lift it up and down slightly. It's very restrictive for how far up we can aim with this thing. And then there's of course our railguns. It's surrounded by a bunch of armoured panels. A few gaps here and there to make it more artistic. Onto the side there. There we've got a strip of yellow. We come across to the main body right here. So moving all the way up, we've got once again our armoured panels adding in small fins. Over to here, again, we then got our conveyor cap with some more decoration, with more armoured panels just hiding up where that hinge is sitting. Over in this part of our projector block, we then got our camera to actually view all the way out to make sure we can aim this thing precisely. Then to the opposite side. So there we go, we've got ourselves a small little antenna with some neo tubes to go all the way up with a little red colouring on the end of it. And there we are. I suppose we can talk about this section. This is our bridge. We've got a small little doorway to get inside, which is 1 or 3 doorways to get inside. We've got 2 more doors towards the back of the ship, which leads on to our living quarters and our entertainment centre. That's more of an emergency way in and out. I like to think of this one as the proper way in and out of the ship. Yes, there's our bridge with 2 programmable blocks. One's for the custom turret, and the other one's for the enemy radar scripts. And with that, that's pretty much it for the outside of what the Caladon Monitor has to offer. It's a lovely little ship with a very simplistic design. It's got a lot of detail going on with it, and a lot of functionality going on with it. It just makes a great little starter ship if you want to use it in your world. Of course, the railguns do kind of prevent you from using it at the start of our mode, but you just want to spawn this in and use this as your starting vessel to go exploring out in the galaxy. Then, well, you can do that. But for now, I'm just going to grab on my character and head in through that doorway. So down the barrel of our railgun, down to here, whoop, got stuck there, so round onto this side, dropping all the way down, opening up this doorway, and closing it right behind me. So there is no auto door and LL script on here, no time blocks controlling the doors, so you will have to close that up yourself. Let's quickly put another programming block onto this, or a time block to control the door. Anyway, down to here, this is the only way we can go. It's a little bit awkward to get your character dropped all the way down. There we go, and this is what we're first greeted with. So this is a very small medical bay, where we've simply got a full-on medical bay block to change your outfit, recharge yourself, and all of that. Over into this doorway, we can now come through to a little shower. There we go. Closing the doorway and come through here. Here we are, we now close up that doorway because I've got to close it earlier after I had my own little look before I started recording. And here's what we get. So on the right hand side, we then got our toilet. So around here, not too much privacy with this. Would have been good to actually swap this over with a shower, but that's my personal opinion. Then to the opposite side, here's a little bed. I'm going to come up this ladder, here we go. And then turn myself all the way around, drop myself down, and here's 2 more beds, as well as 2 other doors to get in and out. So opening up this, here's the outside, closing it once again, to the opposite side. There we go. And yes, around on this side, we've got 2 beds for your passengers or companions to sleep on. Here's your entertainment centre that's currently set up with some music, but for whatever reason, it's only coming out of my left ear. Pressing play on that. There you go, it's a very odd thing, not sure why it's doing it. As for that, that's pretty much all there is onto this section, until we move up the ladder once again. So all the way up to here, this then takes us to our bridge. Before we go any further forwards, we're going to turn around and look at this section. So on the left and right hand side, we then got our custom weapon controllers, but the left hand side is actually control the railgun turret. The right hand side purely there for symmetry, and as you can see it's currently offline because it's not needed. But if you did want to attach on more custom turrets onto the ship, you can easily set that up, then make use of this block. Anyway, pulling away from this onto the left and right hand side once again, we've got our scripts, but we already talked about that. That's the radar script, that's the custom weapon controller. Then turning towards the front here, we then got our helm, which is going to be to control the railgun. Then the seat in front of it is going to be to also control the railgun, but everything else about the ship, including flying it around. So your co-pilot can get into the helm, then bring up the HUD, take over the railgun. We then got 3 controls, where number 3 is going to be to let the AI take over the railgun if you want to do that. Then you got number 2 then to lock onto your target, or whatever the captain has locked onto. Then number 1 for manual control over this, we can spin this thing around. Then once we're ready, we hit left mouse button, and there we go, fire the left, and then fire the right. Then if we were to hop out of the turret, what's going to happen is, the script is then going to put it back to its standby position, but it's going to spin all the way back around to the front, then readjust the vertical position of our barrels to make sure it's fully back to its default position. Hopping out of this, moving to the front cockpit, here we go, we've got the same controls of 1, 2, and 3, where number 1, we now spin this around and actually fire it, but with free camera, this is what it looks like from a small distance, so hiding the HUD there and spinning around once again. There we go, we now lift it up, and down as far as we can go, then back round to the front and aiming it towards the camera. Left mouse button, and there we go, we can see the ship moves back quite a bit, so do be aware of that if you are firing quite close to a station or close to another ship. What I can do now is just file this back in the free camera, and there we go, now it realigns itself, and now it raises itself up or down. There we go, now it's back to its standby position. Anyway, back into a first person view, here we go. For the other controls, what we've got is largely a lot of stuff that we don't actually need to touch. Where number 3 is going to be part of our docking sequence, where thanks to an event controller, what's going to happen is when we connect up that connector at the back, it's going to switch off all of our hydrogen thrusters, put us into a almost power saving mode. But once we're ready to disconnect, instead of pressing P to undo the connector, we now press number 4, that's going to disconnect that, turn on all the functional systems, and away we can fly. Number 5 is then for your reactor on and off, number 6 then for your O2H2 generator on and off, number 7 is then for your battery to auto recharge, number 8 is for your hydrogen tanks to stockpile on and off, and then number 9 is for your hydrogen thrusters, which could be all the way around the ship to turn them on and off, and with that, we can no longer move. Turning back onto tab number 2, we then got a bunch of stuff that we don't really need to actually use, barring number 1, that would be to lock and lock our connector, with number 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 all to be connecting and disconnecting that connector, and of course turning on and off the systems that go along with it. So we don't really need to touch them, but what I can do is come into here, find the dock, there we go. Now we look at the auto dock, come into setup actions, and there we go, it now locks the connector and turns off our hydrogen thruster. And then we'll come into the event controller, so setup actions, we see we've got our auto dock trigger now, then we've got our reset button, then all the way down to the undock, we now set up actions once again, we then got our auto dock to toggle off, our thrusters to turn on, and our connector to unlock. So there we go, got all fully automatic system, which is jolly good stuff. And then as for that, that is pretty much it for all the controls of this thing. So all we've got to do now is fly this thing around, see how it handles, and I suppose we can try and find some space pirates to test out the turret with. If not, I'll slam it into an asteroid. That's always a good way to end these videos. So moving forwards, this is what we get. And well, as you can expect from a fairly small ship with a bunch of hydrogen thrusters strapped to the back of it, we've got some bloody good speed. coming to a stop, we are a lot slow, but luckily we do have plenty of gyroscopes on this, so we can do an easy 180 and stop a lot quicker. But as you notice there, as I did the 180, the ship sort of goes a bit wibbly wobbly. It does not go a full horizontal 360, it sort of pulls up a little bit, pulls down, it wants to twist all the way around, which is a very odd thing. So spinning around once again, there we go, the ship really wants to tilt all the way over. It's a very odd sensation when in first person view. There we go, in fact, in first person view doesn't really help. It's only really when I start to turn this thing, you can actually see it tilting around. So there we go. Anyway, moving down, that's the speed we get. Moving up, a lot faster than moving down. Left and right, getting some nice speed with that. So the fastest thing is moving forwards, and the slowest thing is moving down. And of course we just saw what the gyroscope can do, so I suppose now I've got to track down some space pirates, and we'll see if we can start blasting them. So here we go, I did find a space pirate. It might have been a wreckage from my previous video, but coming to the railgun, aiming all the way towards it, and that is all it is. So that must be a wreckage from my previous video when I absolutely annihilated it by slamming into it, or blowing it up with a bunch of rocket launchers. But this will do nonetheless. So out of the camera and pressing number 3, that should now activate. We're going to lock onto it, and hopefully it will start to fire. I'm not too sure if it's going to. It might be too damaged and well pointless for the actual AI to target. I'm going to get a bit closer. Hopefully it will, maybe it won't. I'm not too sure. I might need to actually come into the custom weapon controller and change what it's going to target. So here we go one more time, turning on the AI. Hopefully it will target it. I'm not too sure if it's going to. I might need to just manually blast it. I think that is what I'm going to do. So there it is right there. We're now going to fire straight into the middle of it. Left, right, and there we go. We now split it in two, and it's now flying all the way away. It's kind of a shame the AI did not actually take over and start blasting it itself. But nonetheless, like I said, that'll do. So to finish off this video properly, we're just going to slam straight into this asteroid piece that is conveniently nearby. So it is a lovely ship to use in your world if you do want to have a more fish-shaped ship with a lovely railgun turret on the front of it. It's got a lovely little interior that you can decorate if you want to. Maybe strip out a few things here and there, put stuff that you want to have inside there. And there we go. That was a nice big explosion. Looks like we crumpled quite badly to the point that, yes, we've only got the tail remaining, but we've still got hydrogen thrusters, so our tanks are still in one piece. And we might be able to get inside this thing still. There might be a doorway here, so there it is right there. Might need to repair it all the way up. Here we go, might take a little bit of time because it's the basic welder. Any second now, there we go. Opening up the doorway on the inside. What do we have? Well, we've still got one bed, so we can still go to sleep. And we've still got a ladder to go all the way down. Is everything in one piece down to here? I highly doubt it. And that's basically what I expected. But we've still got a toilet, so happy days of that. Anyway, with that, like I was saying, it's a fantastic little ship to use in your world. If you want to have something fish-shaped, got a nice bit of firepower on there, nice little interior for you to decorate. If you want to strip out a few things here and then and add more stuff that you want to have on there, as always, I'll be linked to it in the description below if you wish to download and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do, as well as a link to the Skybox. I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.